Hello, friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Today with Tally. The mission and goal of this podcast is to bring an engaging conversation that will add value to the lives of everyday people. We will inspire, encourage, educate, and tell the stories of America's finest men and women in an effort to motivate you to live your life to its fullest potential. Be sure to follow us on social media and search Today with Tally. Be sure to subscribe, follow, and share the program as well. Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Tally.
Welcome back to Today with Tally podcast, where we add real life value to the lives of everyday people. Folks, it has never been easier to listen to this podcast. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Twitter, and Facebook. Simply search Today with Tally and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get every episode. To stay up to date with the latest and greatest our guests in the show has to offer. Folks, I just want to thank Chase's Choice. Now, Chase's Choice are good friends from Canyon City, Colorado, are today's show sponsor. Now, Chase's Choice is an industry leader in cannabis and hemp products and continues to heal those in need. Whether you are struggling from physical pain, anxiety, depression, or having trouble sleeping, there's a product for you that will improve your quality of life. Ken, the founder of Chase's Choice, continues to engage in open conversation on the benefits of cannabis and hemp, CBD, CBG, CBN, THC, and all of the other cannabinoids found in the plant through extensive research and development. To learn more, visit Chase's Choice online today at chaseschoice.org. That's chaseschoice.org. Or call Ken, my buddy, directly. 719-371-0768. That's 719-371-0768. Now, CBD was Chase's Choice. What's yours? Folks, always remember to consult with your doctor before starting any alternative medicine products, and always check with your state and local municipalities on the laws regarding the use of CBD and hemp products. Now, folks, I want to know, where are my business owners out there? Where are my entrepreneurs out there? Advertise your business right here on this podcast. Let me help you reach your goals. Let's put a marketing plan together and develop a strategy to take your business to the next level, whether it's you want to get your gear out there, your merchandise, you have an event, you have business services, products, whatever it may be, you need to market that to your consumer, to your end users, and you can do it right here on this podcast. Folks, it's never been easier to become a show sponsor. Email me today, thetallybill@gmail.com. That's thetallybill@gmail.com. Now, folks, we have a very special guest joining us on today's program. Now, I have got the honor and the privilege to do a little father-daughter bonding today. I have never had a in-studio guest until today. So I hope you like our little background here. I'm kind of, just playing with it a little bit with the license plates and some cool memorabilia. And I got my beautiful daughter from San Diego. I got my San Diego State University shirt on. And we are going to have a podcast about the college experience. And yes, we are in Houston, Texas, but my baby girl's from San Diego, literally born and bred. But the Final Four was just here in Houston. So a lot of people from San Diego are still in the area. And so I'm honored here to bring in my beautiful firstborn daughter, Alana Tally. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very happy to be here.
Welcome to the Today with Tally podcast.
I never thought I'd see myself here.
What an absolute honor to be kicking it with my baby girl. We're going to talk a little bit of college, but first, I was having a conversation with one of my best friends this morning. And before I say his name, I just want to say that this guy is about one of the wildest guys I've ever seen. Great guy, great heart. But I'll tell you what, this Marine veteran is as crazy as they get, perhaps. He says, "Oh, dude, you're doing a podcast with Alana. Oh my God, dude, give me a shout out." And I'm like, okay, all right, well, I'll give you a shout out. Well, this is a college podcast. And so the only thing I can say about my good buddy Jeb is we all have that friend Stifler, right? From American Pie. Well, Jeb is my Stifler, right? So that should set it up pretty good. Now, the only college campus that this guy's ever seen is when he was doing keg stands at your local community college, right? I mean, we all know Jeff. Jeff, like I said, good-hearted, phenomenal. One of the best men I know. I mean, an awesome dad, great kids, great husband, great job. I mean, this guy's just kicking life's ass now. But guys, back in Jeb's day, he was Stifler. And he is still kind of Stifler because you don't ever really grow out of being the Stifler, right? I call him the Jebster, right? So Jeb, this shout out is for you. God bless you. Now that we got that out of the way. All right. So the reasoning for this podcast is, I'm always on my kids. I'm always on my kids, right? For them to do better, for them to do good, for them to never quit, for them to always strive for perfection. And if they can't be perfect, well, then we're going to settle for excellence. And that's what I've always put into the hearts and minds of my children, all 4 of them. A, B, C, and D, right? A, B, C, and D. And this is A, the firstborn, right? So I said, let's do a podcast and let's talk about your college experience. You're the first one in the family to go to college. You did it in 4 years. You lived that whole entire lifestyle of leaving the house, if you will, and going in on your own and opening the door to the dorms in San Diego, California. What was that experience like right when you stepped foot on that campus? I remember that day when we had the park, we had to get them. You got Delaney carrying pillows, you got Colton. What was that like?
That was a crazy experience. Of course, there was about 12 dorms on campus, and mine happened to be the furthest one away. It's about a 30-minute walk to campus. And I was on the 8th floor, and there was only 2 elevators. Of course, one of them was out. So we got to go up 8 flights of stairs several times.
Yep, I definitely recommend I remember that. The elevators, and even if you wanted to have an elevator ride, you weren't getting on the elevator because there was a line, and then it was broken. And so it was like 90 degrees in there, and it was hotter with everybody's hot air, and that was a rough day. And then it was also hard too, saying goodbye, right?
Yeah.
After all these years, but it was a quick 40-mile trip down south to the SDSU campus, and I tell you, I mean, we couldn't have had a better experience with you being in college, as parents, because you were just right down the road, and it was easy to catch up. If you needed to come home, you could come home. If so I thought that was a really good experience. Now, I want to get into the value, because this program is all about adding value. So this isn't intended to be a funny podcast. This is intended to be a real life podcast that's going to add real life value to the lives of everyday people. Now, this could be great for a high school student, or it could be great even for a college student, maybe a freshman, a sophomore that may be going through some struggles in college and maybe could use some advice or some recommendations from somebody that did it well, and continues to do big things, in San Diego post-college. Now, I want to know, Alana, how many schools did you actually apply to, and how long was that process of applying for schools?
So I applied to a total of 4 schools. I applied to San Diego State, Cal State Fullerton, Cal State Long Beach, and Cal State San Marcos. I applied to all those beginning of senior year of high school. And then I heard back within that second semester. I want to say San Diego State was the second acceptance I got, and that was in February. So heard from all of them between January and March.
And obviously, San Diego State was your one.
Absolutely.
To start from so it was your one. Now, I remember you never thought you were going to get accepted. I know you were always just like, stressing out and this and that. I'm like, hey, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, go to the people that want you, right? Mm-hmm. Don't chase, just if it comes to you, cool. If not, don't go out and completely chasing it to where you're just running, in circles and in quicksand, and you're trying to force something that may not be normal, right? You're trying to force something that wasn't intended to happen. So we all know that when you go out and you try to force things, you end up just falling flat on your face. So it was good that you finally had gotten that second letter back. It was from San Diego State. So now we didn't need to shift gears and to say, okay, what's plan B?
Mm-hmm.
You got your plan A, right?
Yeah.
Alana got her plan A, and she found herself walking the campus of San Diego State. And that brings me to the next question here is, what were the requirements to get into San Diego State?
So when it comes to colleges, at least in California, there's requirements as far as what classes you need to take, but there's more of like an average as far as GPA and SAT scores go. And you want to be within that average requirement there. So for myself, my GPA was about average. It was, I think, 0.1 higher than the average at San Diego State, but I did take a lot of AP courses, and my SAT score was severely higher than the average. And so I think that's what kind of allowed me to stand out from other people.
Now, I think you had a head start getting into San Diego State because you went to Great Oak High School, which is one of the finest high schools in Southern California.
Yes.
Doing the AP courses there, do you feel as if that puts you on a fast track to success when you entered college? Or did you think that maybe the AP classes didn't really prepare you that well for college?
I 100% stand by taking AP courses, especially the easier ones. The nice thing is that all AP courses count as college credit when it comes to college. So I was able to bypass some of those GE courses and get into the courses that really mattered when it came to pursuing my degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I tell my siblings too when they get to college or when they're in high school, to really consider taking some AP courses, and not too many to where you're overwhelmed. But if you can fit one or two in there, it helps boost your GPA in high school, and it allows you to bypass classes in college.
And what was your SAT score?
It was 1340, and that was out of 1600.
Man, I don't know how I created something so smart. Not the brightest bulb in the box, right? But hey, it is what it is. We've done well. We've done well. Jenny and I have done well with our kids, and we're so blessed. And again, living the dream here today, having my daughter join me on this podcast, Alana Talley, a recent graduate 2021 of San Diego State University in America's finest city. Now, let's go back to your freshman year. You're this freshman on a big college campus. It's an open campus. You've got everyday people walking through. What was it like? Describe what was it like living on campus and in the dorms?
It was an amazing time, honestly. I made friends for life just last weekend. San Diego State made it to the national championship basketball. And I actually was able to, I went to the national championship. I watched the game with 30 of my best friends, all from my freshman dorm. And it's so special that I've created those bonds and relationships that'll last a lifetime. So I was very thankful for my social life freshman year, made tons of friends, had a lot of great experiences. It was very different going from living at home to being on your own and getting to choose when you wake up, when you go to bed, what you eat, when you get to go out, when you're going to stay home and study. So there was definitely a learning curve at the beginning, but it was a neat experience to share with all these other kids that were in the same boat, and everyone, especially freshman year, there's just so much space for trying to figure out what you want to do and just getting a new routine down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds like you had to figure it out. You had to set your own schedule. You had to have a structured life. You had responsibilities that you've never had before. And it sounds like, too, that you've got some really strong camaraderie in college. And it's kind of reminiscent of the Marine Corps, or the military. You serve with people every single day. You live in the barracks, kind of like college, but you're not cleaning rifles every single day. You're opening up,
textbooks
books or computers or laptops or whatever it may be. So I can definitely see the correlation there between really getting involved at your college and then also in the military too, just because of the people that you surround yourself daily or the ones that,
become your new family. Like,
yeah,
it's
your
like a family. Yeah.
Yeah. The people that you go to for advice or to cry on their shoulder or whatever it may be, or to go out and celebrate and just really live your life, with this new family. And again, like you said, create these bonds that are sure to last a lifetime. So now I want to know, what was your initial goal when you enrolled in college?
So I originally went to San Diego State for kinesiology, pre-physical therapy. So I was on the pre-med route. My initial goal was to get into sports medicine, possibly be a sports medicine doctor. But that quickly changed. I did great my freshman year. I really enjoyed all my classes. I still have a passion for the medical field, but I came to terms with who I am as a person, and I just didn't think I was set out to go to school for 8, 10, 12 years before getting into my career and seeing a paycheck.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
So we all know that college isn't cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to figure out, if I want to spend, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years in college, it's like, shit, by the time you get out of college, you've become a professional student. Like, what is the real world like? What is real life like?
Mm-hmm.
So by the time you get out, you become a doctor, you become an attorney, lawyer, whatever. You've been working a lot of the times for free as an intern or whatever it is. And you said, no, you know what? I want to go out and I want to earn my paycheck. Just let me get my 4-year degree,
Mm-hmm.
kind of put my legs up underneath me before I go out there and completely clip those wings and go fly. Now, did your goals change from your freshman year to your senior year?
Yes. So after freshman year, I did decide to switch my major to business.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but the nice thing is that with a business degree, you have such a wide variety of careers you can go. So I decided to do business, emphasis in marketing, and then continue that on. And then as I went each and every year and, learned from different people, met different people, saw different courses that were with social media or with consumerism or with just business to business sales or business to consumer sales, I kind of formed into where I was at the end of senior year when I decided to continue on the sales route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked about this a lot, especially you growing up as a kid, saying, what should I do? What should I do? I'm like, marketing would be great. I mean, because look, when we're driving down the road, I start pointing things out all the time to the kids. That right there is, that light pole has a marketing director. The light bulb inside that light has a marketing director. The holding together that light, that street light, has a marketing director. Things that get put together are all coming from these different facets of these different companies. Look behind me right now, that door, that wood has a marketing director. The stain that is applied on that door has a marketing director. The hardware that's holding that door up is manufactured and they want to sell. They want to get their points, of product out there. They have a marketing director. Literally, you can look around at anything and everything in this world and see they have a marketing director. So business and marketing, it will never go extinct.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be something there for people, in real life people, not AI, artificial intelligence. Like, people are people, and you still need that human connection. And, like I said, this microphone has a marketing team and has a marketing director. And this table, literally everything out there, you can create a path and you can create your own job. Really, at the end of the day, you can go in and you could, have a sales pitch on, hey, look, I could bring your company to the next level, and let me show you how. Really, the opportunities are endless when it comes to marketing. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to innovation, right? And that's where you have done really well with your degree now post college, and working where you work at and doing the trade shows and really interacting with your customers and with your clients on what you do now. But before we get too far out over our skis here, want to know a little bit. What was the social life of college? Parties and all that stuff. I don't need, you don't
need to know everything, Dad.
I'm on a need to know basis, right? And I may not need to know all that, but really, what's the social life of college like?
So I can only speak on behalf of my experience at San Diego State, but it is a big college I went to. There was it was a very social school. There were parties and they were very into sports and they were very into Greek life and even like scholarly, like they had business frats and they had just a lot of opportunities to get involved, meet people, get out of the dorms, be social, and just create connections with the people around you. So I did not join any Greek life, but a lot of my friends did. So I kind of secondhandedly experienced what that would look like. So I did get the opportunity to go to some like formals and that. Went to some parties, of course, that social life. And the sports, that was definitely one of my favorite things. Going to tailgates, going to football games, going to basketball games. It was nice seeing San Diego State do pretty well with a lot of their sports. And as we do better, there's just more and more people that want to go and people want to celebrate it before and after, and just, it became this unit of people that were all on the same team and just celebrating the same wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, San Diego State has taken the place of the Chargers. They've taken the place of the old Clippers that used to play down the road in the San Diego Sports Arena that's still there now. That's become pretty much a museum. It's sold. But the game day experience of the San Diego State Aztecs, describe the emotions and the tailgate and describe what it's like to wake up and it's game day.
Mm-hmm. So, we've always been a big sports family. Always, especially growing up in Colorado, we'd go to those games. You go to Nuggets games, Rockies games, and it's such a good feeling when you see other people wearing the same jersey as you. But going to the same school and knowing every single person you're around, we are all on the same team. It's just so amazing, like waking up and everyone's in their San Diego State gear and everyone's high-fiving each other and everyone, especially like getting ready for the games. I remember waiting hours in line, or we actually broke the online ticket thing for basketball games. This was right before COVID. Our team was the only undefeated team, or one of like two teams that were undefeated my sophomore or junior year. And we broke the online thing because people were trying so hard to get in there and watch a game. And it's like being at a school like that, that's how Great Oak was too, like the Red Wave, just being at a school where everyone wants to be involved so much that it's scarce. It's a scarcity. And, the demand is so high that it makes it even that much more fun and that much more special when you make it inside, for the game. You get a ticket. You get to experience that win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Viejas is an amazing place to watch a game. And I've been to Viejas Arena in San Diego there. It's on campus. It's a beautiful stadium there where the Aztecs play, and they put good quality teams out there on the court. And you're talking about Mountain West Conference, and they just continue. And Kawhi Leonard, one of the biggest names in all of the NBA. He's a graduate of San Diego State.
Yeah,
amazing. And can't forget about Marshall Faulk too, one of the best running backs ever to play in the NFL. Is also alumni of San Diego State. Now, what did the workload of college look like? Like the workload, balancing everything out. What was a day in the life of Alana Talley at San Diego State?
So, as I mentioned earlier, my freshman year, I was in a pre-med situation. So that workload was a lot different than my sophomore, junior, senior year. So when it comes to being in school for, medical or engineering, any kind of major where you're going to be in labs, there's a big workload. You have labs once a week, sometimes twice a week. So you're constantly on campus. You have a lot of homework each day pretty much. And you're constantly having different assignments due. Whereas in business that I did sophomore, junior, senior, the majority of my classes, there were only two things that went into the grade book. It was your midterm and your final exam. And I'm going to be honest, I think that was harder than having assignments every week, because when you only have 2 assignments the entire semester, it's easier to be like, oh, I have a month before something's due. I have 2 weeks before something's due. It's easier to procrastinate. And so you really had to have that self-discipline on, okay, I need to prepare in a month, but I need to start my chapters now because I have 30 chapters I have to go through. So, you kind of had to teach yourself, okay, I'm going to pretend that I have an assignment due. I'm going to pretend that this chapter is going to be due next week to keep on track, so you're not super overwhelmed, by time that midterm comes up. Because if you mess up that midterm, that's 50% of your grade for the entire semester.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely had a lot more independence in business, but you had to be on top of your stuff or it'd be really easy to fail class.
Your freshman year was the most stressful out of the 4, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And it was all just, you're learning something completely new. You've got that independence.
Mm-hmm.
You're learning new friends, your new surroundings. You went from going to a school that had 4,000 kids to 30,000
Mm-hmm.
kids. And, on an open campus, you're living in the dorms, you're in pre-med, you're taking a lot of really hard courses. And obviously that had to have been somewhat strenuous on you.
Yeah.
Right? Would you say?
Yes, definitely.
Now, as we got deeper into college, your junior year, you became an upperclassman, right? And did college become more of a job at that point rather than just a fun place to gather socially?
So that's a hard question for me to answer because my last year and a half was during COVID. So unfortunately, I wasn't on campus. So I can't tell you if by senior year I would have been tired with my college experience, but I do feel like it was cut short. So I only technically was an upperclassman on campus for half my junior year. So, and at that point I was still loving college. I was on campus freshman and sophomore year. And then junior and senior year I was off campus. So I wasn't as involved as I was, I wasn't at the gym every day and I wasn't on meal plan, eating on campus every day. But because of COVID, I never got tired of being in college. It was more of like something was taken away from me.
How did you make it through COVID with your college friends? Did you guys set up, your friend groups? Did you guys still go out and see each other, or was everybody pretty much just confined to their house or their apartment or whatever, and you guys were just kind of living this life that was just like on Zoom and kind of just like not knowing what was going on around you and just kind of living like this big question mark on what tomorrow may bring? How did you guys, how did you college kids get through COVID in a way that would be beneficial to you in the long term, in the long run? Did you guys learn anything specifically about that time, in our history?
Yeah. So I would say because of COVID, we kind of jumped out of the whole like party scene and social scene of wanting to meet a lot of people and really got close with each other and realized, what, we have a solid friend group. We're not going out and like meeting other people and then going to all these like random places anymore. Like we're just really going to dial in on our friend group. The majority of people, I'd say like 99% of people were laid off from their jobs. So I was not one of them. I was working in the medical field. So I continued working through COVID the entire time. None of my friends did. So with my friend group, we all just hung out pretty much with our housemates. So whoever you were living with was who you hung out with. But we would like every once in a while we'd go on like hikes and do like outdoor activities with each other just to see each other and interact with other people. But it was a big change going from being on campus all the time with 30,000 people to being, in a house, like stuck in the house with, maybe 3-4 people. And that was like the new reality that no one was expecting or prepared for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you would say that during COVID, your bond with your friends and your friend group just got stronger.
Absolutely.
Now, you had mentioned the medical field. Now, I know you were one of the lucky ones that never got laid off. You always had that paycheck coming in. And really, this young lady, with her workload from college, plus she worked in a medical field all the way through college and still continues to be in the medical field. So she's definitely done it all right and has always put in that extra work, especially when California was paying people to stay home. And she's like, no, I'm an independent woman and I have a job to do, and I owe it to my patients and to my boss to show up to work every single day and put forth that effort to help people out in a great time of need in our country. Now, I want to get into a few other things here. I know this is kind of a new thing for me, so I'm kind of reaching across the table here. I got to try to stay on point here. We've never done this in studio thing, but it's very cool. It's very special. I'm joined with my daughter from San Diego. She's here on Easter break visiting the family. We're going to do an Easter egg hunt tomorrow, which is fun, and we're going to dye some eggs. Now, let's get into the cost of college. Now, is college worth the cost?
Overall, I would say yes, but not for the reasons people would assume. So I think college can be worth the cost if you get the right things out of it. So for me personally, I always say I think college is more of a social experiment. It's a great way to learn those social skills and learn independence. I think it's a great transition to go from being a kid at home living with their family in high school to being an adult. It's this nice like in between stage where, you know, you're away from home, but you're also around, you know, people that are watching your dorms, and you have that extra security, and you have meal plan, but you still have to choose what you want to eat. And it's a nice 4-year transition before you have to actually go out on your own and like, you know, really be an actual like full adult.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say between the social and the independence, college can definitely be worth it. But I don't think you're really learning book smarts as much as people would expect you to learn in college.
You know, because you could say, well, a great social experiment would be joining the military. So what would be the takeaway from being a college student rather than joining the military?
I honestly can see them being similar. It kind of depends on like what you want to do long term. You do it in today's day and age, having a degree is so important to get a lot of good jobs. And they don't even, it doesn't even matter necessarily like what you went to school for or where you went. It's just knowing that you signed up for something and you're able to finish it. I think that's another big thing in college, is showing that you can finish things. You know, it's that you're not a quitter, that you continue going through. If it's a 4-year or 2-year degree, that's 2 or 4 years that you are continuing to take these classes when it gets hard, or when you fail a test, or when, you know, you miss home, or when, you know, different things happen, showing that you can finish it. Because I went to school with a lot of kids that did drop out, and you get to see the difference between someone who deals with, you know, hard times and continues on, and the people that quit. So I think saying that you have a college degree, it's more of like, okay, they can finish something, they have the social skills, they have the independence, more than, okay, they know how to do social media, or they know how to, you know, do an assignment.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that you would have the job you have right now if you didn't have a degree?
No.
Explain.
So I did start my current job field when I was in college, but I have moved my way up. So I started as a receptionist, and once I got my degree, I was able to move up into a manager position, got a significant raise, got a lot more respect in the office, and I'm able to be more independent and like make business decisions and not just be told what to do. Also, I have looked at other job positions, and anything I want to do, it is required to have that college degree plus experience. And, you know, it's hard because a lot of jobs, they want experience before you apply, but having that degree really it shows a lot to these companies that at least you have that. And I think it'd be hard if you didn't have that degree to continue on, especially in a business setting, unless you wanted to be an entrepreneur and create your own company.
Sure. And that's the follow through. They're looking that you're not going to quit, that you're going to, finish what you started. Now, people may look at you and say, she's young, or, she doesn't have any experience. Well, folks, you got to understand, she worked all the way through college. So you got to say 4 years on top of that. And then she's been out of school now for 2 years. So that's 6 years, real life experience dealing with real life situations in a medical and doctor type setting, where you're dealing with sick people and you're dealing with people that need certain procedures done. And really at the end of the day, you are a 23-year-old successful, young, independent woman who has really earned the respect of your peers, and your employer sees that. And you've kind of climbed that ladder of success at a very young age. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, that's a $1 million question right there. I'm very happy where I'm at now, but I would love within the next few years I've always been curious about getting into a Fortune 500 company. I mean, we've talked about that. I'd love to get into a corporate position where I'm making big time decisions for a big company, whether that's on sales. I do prefer sales over marketing. I like talking to people. I like that person-to-person communication more than being behind a screen. But I'd love to do that. I've also had some thoughts of like creating my own app or creating something smaller. So, with time, we'll see what happens. But I've always kept an open mind about different opportunities. And I like to, walk through the door when the door's open. So
just like your daddy. I love it. The father-daughter bonding that's going on right now is priceless, folks. I'm joined by my beautiful daughter, Alana Talley, class of 2021, San Diego State. We're having a little podcast talking college and, really just trying to add some value out there to folks that may be looking at college, or maybe in college, or maybe a high school student thinking about going to college, and how to plan their route and what to expect perhaps when they step foot on that campus for the first time. Now, I want to know, if you had the opportunity to do it all over again, would you? And would it still be San Diego State?
Absolutely.
100%.
100%.
Yes, I would go to college again. And yes, absolutely, I would. It would be at San Diego State.
Yes, I had an amazing experience there. Really no regrets. Really overall had an amazing time. I've always loved San Diego. The school's great. It's beautiful. It has the sports that I love. It has great degree programs like the Fowler College of Business is such a great credited program. The friends I met, the experiences I had, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Fair. Now, can you offer any recommendations or advice to any kids, any high schoolers out there, or current college students to make their college experience better, or really just add some value to their future decisions?
Yes. So like I had said earlier, I think AP classes are a great way to get ahead of the game if you want to go to college. Whether you want to go to community college, junior college, or a university, those courses count. And so it saves money, it saves time, it saves stress. So I think that's really important. And then again, it's crazy that a GPA is an accumulation of 4 years of classes, and an SAT is a 1 hour sit down test. They count as the same thing in college. So for me, I did great. I want to say 3.6 after college in high school. And then I had an outstanding SAT score. And because of that, that meant more than my 4 years of classes. So study for the SAT too, and really dial in. If you're going to study for anything for multiple hours on end, the SAT is a huge spot to stand out against your other peers.
I love it. And you did this all too during some sort of a hardship when I went down. And, I've always had your guys' back. And when I went down, you guys stepped up. she kept an amazing GPA, and the family completely bonded, stayed together, even through the trials and the triumphs of the Talley family. And that's what makes us so special. And that's what makes this podcast even more special today, because we get to share all of the great highlights, of your life and all of your life experiences and all of the success that you have had early on. Now, I want to know, what's life like now after college? Like, how's Alana doing?
I'm good. I'm still residing in San Diego. I'm living my dreams of being walking distance from the beach. It's great. And I am still working for the same company I started with my junior year, and I've moved my way up to a marketing and sales manager position. So I'm thriving. I'm loving my life.
Look at that.
And yeah.
A loyal woman who knows how to follow through, never quit, knows what she wants, sees it, and goes and gets it at 23 years old with all the experience that she has after going through a successful 4 years of college at San Diego State, which wasn't an easy walk. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. You got all these papers coming in, then you got to maintain a job, then you got to maintain your social life, and then you got family life. And there's a lot that's being thrown at college students. And again, folks, it's very similar to the military. I'm not saying that, oh, poor pity me, you got to, manage, your college. Look, we all got to manage things, time management, and, learn how to do well at every facet of life, not just be good at one. That's where she comes into place and say, you know what? I've done fairly well in all of the different facets of life. And really, you grow and you evolve through your daily life experiences, right? I mean, and now look, you're walking distance to the beach. You've got a great job. You're making some good money. You got an awesome Jeep. You got great friends. She was just at a Carrie Underwood concert the other day. She hangs out at Petco Park. She watches the Padres. I mean, really, like, life couldn't be better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know she did try to move to Texas, and she came here, and she's like, after 6 months, she's like, look, fam, I love you, but I think my life is in San Diego, and that's fine. You got to let your kids, grow up and go live the life that they were intended to live, and not live for anybody else. Got to live for yourself. And hey, a quick airline, Southwest Airlines, throw your daughter on and she'd come out and visit for a couple of days, and vice versa. And everybody's happy. Everybody gets to see each other and to share the time that we have and really make the best of it when the opportunity arises. Now, what does your degree mean to you? Does it have any, people say a degree is just a piece of paper, right? And really, that's all it is, really. I mean, anything in life is just a piece of paper. Money is just a piece of paper. Everybody just says, well, it's just a piece of paper. Your DD-214 in the military, it's just a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. Does your degree mean something to you other than it's just a piece of paper?
I'm obviously very proud of my degree. I was first generation college grad. So
she's the smart one in the family.
So it was a good accomplishment. Like, I feel very accomplished for getting through that, especially doing it in 4 years after changing my degree. It's very hard to do that because you have to make up for a whole year. I was able to make up for that year within 3. But yeah, it is a piece of paper, but it also allows me to, it's something I'll use forever, I think, just being able to check that box that I have a degree and being able to tell people I graduated, especially being in business. And it's something that I will talk about with people over, the course of my life. So I'd say, it is very important to me.
Yeah, again, it's very similar to the military. You got that camaraderie, you've got that bonding. You can always wear San Diego State stuff. It's just like being a Marine. It's like, once a San Diego State alumni, always San Diego State. Mm-hmm. I would find it to be very similar to that of a Marine. You see a Marine, it's kind of like you know them.
Exactly.
Or her, they've been through the same thing. They've been through the same, they've walked the same, steps as you. They fired the same weapons. They ate in the same chow halls. So you can meet somebody for the first time that went to San Diego State and they're like, oh yeah, I lived in Chappie my freshman year. Oh, so did I. So now it's like you've known them for a lifetime and you got that immediate connection there and you have that connectability, if you will, to say, we've done a lot of the same things. And that's where that conversation can be started. And you never know where those simple conversations may bloom, right? All it takes is a little seed, and then boom, you're watering this new flower, a friendship, or whatever it may be, or a business opportunity. And again, it all comes with, where you've been, how you got there, and where you're pushing through to get to the next step in life. Now, I know we've already talked a lot about, the camaraderie, but we have it here. But what's it like to be alumni, to be, to feel, I know you're only a couple of years out of college, but still, I mean, it's still very new. When you go out to, say, a bar in San Diego and they got that San Diego State flag hanging, and you got your waiter or your waitress coming over to get you, say, a drink or some appetizers or whatever, is San Diego State come up much in that? Because really, San Diego's become a big college town.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the word alumni makes me feel old, so let's be careful there.
Well, I am gray. I've got my proud papa, my proud dad, San Diego State. Like, I need to get that bumper sticker. My daughter graduated college from San Diego State. I'm that proud. Like, my daughter had a 1340 SAT, right? My honor roll student can beat up your honor roll student. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so being in San Diego, obviously San Diego State's the best college in San Diego. So there's a lot of us around, and we all are, like you said, you see someone in a San Diego State shirt, you want to go give them a high five, you want to go talk to them because it's like you're on the same team. You're friends already. So being in San Diego, still, I see San Diego State stuff everywhere. So like I said, going back to the national championship that the Aztecs made it to, go to all the bars and there's just Aztec fans everywhere, walking the streets. There were videos at VA House. They had a watch party. Yeah. There was a video. People were literally jumping over the fences when they said that it was sold out because everyone wanted to be there and they didn't care how they were going to get there. They wanted to be there. It's just all about being on this team and being a part of this family that everyone wants to join. So I am a proud Aztec alum and will be forever.
Did you just say alum?
Yes.
I thought you said that makes you feel old.
It does, but what's the question?
So where do we go to now? You went to a great high school. You come from a great family. You got amazing siblings. You guys are all on your own unique path in life. And I couldn't be a more proud father. But what's next for Alana? Again, you're 23. You're living the American dream right now, literally. There's probably 20, 30 million 23-year-old women that from across the country that would trade spots with you any day of the week. What's your vision? Again, I know I asked this earlier, in the next 5 years. Are you a person that just kind of takes it all in stride and lives that one day at a time? Or are you somebody more that's going to be looking out and saying, I'm going to forecast my life 2 years, 3 years, and 5 years? What's the vision of Alana Talley right now?
I'm very happy with where my job's at, and I'm wanting to continue that on. I guess in the next 5 years, I'd love to be able to settle down and look at buying a house and starting a family down the road and stuff. But that's so far ahead. I'm not, that's something I'd like to do in the future, but I'm not in any rush. And so I guess in that sense, I am taking it day at a time and allowing things to happen and see, like I said, when doors open, see what those opportunities are. But I am very happy and content with where my life is now and the job I'm in, the place I'm living in, and stuff like that. So my life is steady, and I'm just willing to kind of ride that out until the next door opens.
Mental health is a very, very important thing in 2023. We are living in a time where, there's so much pressures out there with social media and with jobs and with, just the unknown, the uncertainties of life. A lot of people say, look, we're going through a mental health crisis in our country. Do you have any self-care? Does Alana do any self-care before work or after work to keep you mentally strong every single day?
Yes, definitely. So I have struggled with mental health over the past few years. I feel like the majority of people do. But I've learned to, take that as a time to really take care of yourself. So, I do live over by the beach, so I love getting up. I go on morning walks to the beach, or I go do yoga, go work out. I like to read like self-help books. It helps me kind of, get those questions answered that I might have about what's next, what do I want to do. It just kind of helps align my thoughts into just a more organizational view. I also love cooking. I love, doing those things, and cleaning, and just doing anything that makes me feel productive before I start my day makes the work day go better. And then by the time I get home from work, I know I've done all of my tasks for the day, so I get to just enjoy my time, relax, and I get to spend those last few days before I go to bed just being able to just like let loose and know that I've already accomplished everything I needed to do for that day.
Right. So you're living a life of gratitude, really. I mean, you got your coping strategy. Man, so you got your coping strategies. You're living a life of gratitude. You're improving yourself daily, and you're really working on a better Alana every single day, really.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man, all of a sudden I got
choked up. It's okay.
Yeah. My daughter's making me. Well, listen, I couldn't be more proud of you and the woman that you have become and continue to blossom into, again, that beautiful flower that's just out there waving in the wind and, living your best life. And again, you're doing so many things. You're not out partying every night. You have your head screwed on right, and you're doing everything the right way. You're putting in the work. You're always improving yourself. You're living that life of gratitude. So that tells me a lot about who you are and the type of character that you carry. And I'm not surprised to see you doing so well, because I know all of these and all these hallmarks that you have that are so beneficial in today's day and age that a lot of people really don't possess. You can't teach what you got. It's either you want to be a very successful, independent decision maker that is doing big things in life and is backing it up. You talk the talk, you walk the walk. I know you're a very humble woman, but again, you should be very proud on what you have done and again, where you have climbed to in such a short period of time. A lot of people don't make it through college in 4 years. You did. A lot of people don't make it through college in 4 years after changing their degree, and you did. A lot of people aren't loyal to the same place of business through college and post-college. You have been that loyalist, if you will. And I know that you are living the life that God has intended you to live, and you're doing it well. And again, I couldn't be more proud. And thank you so much for joining your father today on this podcast. It means a lot to me. And I know a lot of our friends and family out there are going to probably agree with me on having you on, as being a very neat thing. Like a couple weeks ago, I'm out announcing my son at his high school baseball game. And now I get to sit down with my beautiful daughter here and have a little podcast, have a little conversation, right? Have a little small talk. Now, I always like to leave these podcasts with something, something motivational, or some recommendations or life advice, what's some advice that you can leave our listeners with today?
Let's see here. So don't ever live like afraid of failure. That's something I have definitely done, that I've tried to teach myself it's okay to fail. So don't not do something just because you're afraid of failure. Just do it. And, what's meant to be will be. What's meant to happen will happen. Just allow at least yourself the opportunity to do so. And my biggest thing is connections make the world go round. So don't be afraid to talk to people. Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Find similarities with others, and don't ever burn bridges. Just keep those connections, because you never know when you'll need them.
Failure. Don't be afraid of failure. That's always the first attempt in learning.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she probably gets that from me because I've always been afraid to fail. So I've always pushed myself so hard. And that's where this anxiety, like, if you want to know what I would look like as a 23-year-old woman, it's right here. We are literally cut from the same cloth. Like, she is me, and I'm like literally, she's a spitting image of me and her work ethic and all that other stuff. Except for she's smart, way smarter than me. Lord have mercy. I don't even think I got out of pre-algebra in high school. And again, that's why I was putting rounds down to range at 18. And, she was, packing textbooks and in pre-med, right? So that's the only real difference between us. But again, folks, it is commonalities. Find that one commonality, people. Don't be afraid to start something, but you just got to begin. You never know where it's going to take you. And really, in this life that we're all living together on this walk and this journey, if you will, you never know unless you put yourself out there, make yourself vulnerable, and grow, right?
Yeah.
So, my baby girl, this has been a fun time. Thank you so much for doing this podcast with your dad. I can chalk this up now as one of my bucket list items. Done, complete. And again, we were like, oh my God, this is going to be weird. Like, I've never done an in-studio thing. Like, how are we going to do this? What's the setup going to be like? Hey, we did it, right?
We did.
And we didn't fail. I think it went well, except for, when I got choked up there. I don't know why that is. But guys, I hope this podcast added some sort of value. Remember, always take your AP classes, put a plan together. And guys, you got to back it up with a little bit of purpose, a little bit of passion. And again, the plan is everything. Knowing what you're going to do and knowing how to get there. Of course, success isn't a straight line. It's bumpy. It's got a lot of terrain. You got the highs, you got the lowest. But folks, always remain engaged, and that right there is what's going to get you through life. So with that, folks, always remember to stay motivated, stay inspired, and stay encouraged. For Today with Tally, this is Brian Tally. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless.